um, post it, advertise it, and own it as a community. Midjourney expects us to do.
Yeah.
So take ownership, you guys. It's us. You are my peeps. I am your peep.
It's us.
It's us.
Mm-hmm.
We need to set us off the bomb.
Excuse me?
I'm referring to what is it even called? Make your time steps up the bomb.
The zero wing meme.
The zero wing meme. That's what I'm talking about.
From like what, the late 90s.
I know. Yeah. I'm so glad that you recognize it though.
Yeah.
Oh, look how tall my owl is. Why am I so tall?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why am I so stretched? What happened? Calm down, owl. I have a hunchback too. What's happening? Come on, owl. Where's the owl? He's in here somewhere. There he is. Okay, look, owl. You gotta work with me here.
Mm-hmm.
Why are his arms like that?
Oh.
What's happening? I have not touched this file. I have not touched it.
Weird.
Oh yeah, it's not touched. It literally thinks my shoulders are that low.
Wow.
I assume you're trying to wiggle around and reset. There, it went back.
Whew. I have to recalibrate. Goodness gracious. Oh, see, you know, if I put my chin in my hand, it crouches.
Maybe it's what you're wearing.
No, this is if I sit up straight. I look like that, which is normal, right? If I put my chin in my hand, I look like that. So then that's just what's happening is if I look down a little bit. So you
it's
can
just
get a
going on
pretty
your
good
face.
idea. Yeah, it got a pretty good idea of what my posture is based on the owl here. I have to put the captions back up. Hold on. Captions.
So if we notice that, we should tell you to sit up straight.
Yeah, you could. You could, and I'd be like, how did you know that? As soon as I get a haircut, I can maybe turn the camera back on. I mean, I don't really need to use the owl too much. It's just my computer is really struggles to do all of the things. Okay. I have so much to talk about, I don't even know what to do. Welcome, Scadia and Talented and Dreamfly to Midjourney Promptcraft Live. This is our advanced user event, which means that we're going to talk a lot of shop and do a lot of silly things that do not include a whole lot of explanation. what the background is. So here's the thing, Dreamfly and Talented. Welcome. We are so glad you're here, and we need you. First of all, I hope you can find the chat and say hello. But yell at us if we say stuff that you don't understand. You gotta Dreamfly, and you have such a gentle name, but I need you to be a dream hornet for a minute, and or night airfly, and get your answers talented. You gotta get your answers. Welcome, Kalak. Welcome, Wooly, Lucid, Noctifern. Welcome, Architect. Good to see you. I'm going to unmute Noctifern just in case. Stacey, I'm gonna unmute just in case. Remember, if I unmute you to mute manually. Dreamfly, Architect, Talented, do you think you might use your microphone? What about my YouTube people? Do you want to say hello? Hello, YouTube people. No. Can I wave? I'm gonna try to wave. Hello. See how shocky that is? That's my computer freezing up. I have so much to talk to you about today. I'm beside myself. Now I don't mean Midjourney's release of profiles. We're gonna talk about that too. Talk about what Midjourney did, but just other nerd things. Exciting nerd things. I was just saying before you joined Noctifern, Wooly Lucid, that this is
Your
a
audio
community event.
went out for a second. Now you're back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now you're back. Missed that.
I was saying at the beginning of the event that this is a community event. It's for the community. It's by the community. Midjourney sponsors us through me, I suppose. But this is our event. I want all of you to look in your Discord chat and see the text that says event Promptcraft Live with YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Discord, Journey events, and so on. If you are an influencer or have a social media or in some other way want to take ownership of this announcement and these links and get them circulated and invite people, definitely do it. Definitely do it, and definitely take ownership of this. Realize that our website is our website, and your content can live on that website. And we will add links to you. If you are willing to be a card-carrying member of the Midjourney prompting community, then our website, which I will throw up here, which I will not throw up. I will merely load the URL. Try not to do that. Let me give you the URL. Anything for a laugh, Naki. What I hope you guys will do is become a card-carrying member. Let me link you to the site and link back to the site and add you. Let me add you to our social media, and you add us to your social media. We are Midjourney. We the sponsorship are Midjourney. You are the community. There are 22 million of us out there. So look, my owl is just bothering me. Okay, there's 22 million of us out there, right? And or more at this point, and who knows what percentage of them are active. But the thing is that there's such a tiny percentage of us active. Look how few are in this room. Look how the most populated event is, I think, prompt battles. And that's what, 30 people? 40 people? So it's not that I want people to come onto Discord. That's not a natural choice. Discord is not a natural choice. Doesn't come easy to join Discord, but it might come easy to go to any of these other places, or to at least realize that you can go to the Midjourney.com website and start asking questions in the chat and get answers. Surely, Midjourney is not suddenly so easy to use that no one has questions. Boston, or if anyone joining, seeing that in the chat has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Why is he chanting that?
What's new?
Yeah, true. Welcome. This is Midjourney's Promptcraft Live. Good to see you, Brenda, and you too, and VHF61. Come on in, have a seat. We will get started in just a few minutes. There's a lot to talk about today. As you know, Midjourney has released profiles and has reframed the hide feature. It's pure psychology. The hide feature has been reconfigured to be called trash, and it acts a little bit like trash in that in order to see the things that are trash, you have to go to a trash can to view them, rather than, toggle a hidden flag, hidden, unhidden, hidden, unhidden. There's no flag anymore. You actually go to the recycle bin sort of and look at those images. But just like hide, nothing's really gone. It's still hide. They didn't change the code. They just changed the names of the labels. So let me go ahead and demonstrate those two things. Right now, my Discord is just showing me two rotating squares. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Brilliant. I can't click anything or do anything on my Discord right now. It's still just two rotating squares, ladies and gentlemen, two rotating squares. Okay, so in the meantime, I can go to Midjourney and show you. I don't know why I'm using Comet, just for funsies. So what you can do is go to Midjourney.com, log in as yourself, as usual. Click on the three dots, and you'll notice a brand new profile page. Click on profile page. You will be able to see your archive. I do not believe this is currently visible to other people. So you don't have to curate your archive. Oh my God, people are going to see all this crap. I better trash 50% of my work. Your archive should not, is visible by default. Oh, that was talked about a lot. If we hate it, they'll toggle it back.
Yeah, hello.
Hi. Well, at first it was not visible. You can make it visible. Hold on just a second. I gotta unmod this person. Unless anyone wants to call her and have some time.
The unfortunate thing is that when you just go to add Clarinet, it goes to your archive and not your Spotlight.
Okay. Goes to your archive. It defaults to archive and not Spotlight.
Correct.
Okay, we'll fix that. I'm gonna make notes. We'll fix it. That's what we're doing is we release it the way we think people want, and then we fix it. So first of all, please default to Spotlight. I think they didn't want to default to We used to default to Spotlight. I think they wanted to default to Spotlight originally, because when people first have profiles, there's nothing in the Spotlight tab. So everyone would be defaulting to this big empty, error that says there's no Spotlight. Nothing. So it makes more sense for them to default to the Spotlight tab once the majority of people have something Spotlit, or default to the Spotlight tab after you have set something. Yeah, if there's a Spotlight image. I'm writing this down with pen and ink. I drive right in here and type that and spraying out in the kitchen. Okay, we're all jostling around on Josh's head in a headset. You guys can see his ears from here. Just peer into his ears. Okay. So the next thing we wanted to talk about was, can we toggle archive on or off visibility? Toggle archive visibility. Okay. Just to continue to demo this here. If you want to edit your banner, there'll be an edit button in the banner area at the top. If you want to edit your image, your profile image, there's a pencil button here. When you do this, it'll find all images that match this aspect ratio. If you want, you can close this out and go back to your create tab, make something that's in an 11:3 aspect ratio, which is up here in this I didn't even see this. I went and complained. Y'all need to put help text on this. Y'all need to put help text on the pick your banner image. I don't see why you don't have help text. And they all stared at me. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a tiny bit visually impaired, just a little bit. And I couldn't see this. Anyway, no one else has complained, so except Johnny. Thanks, John. Anyway, so you can go do that, and it'll show up here, and you can pick it, or you can generate new image, which is funny. They have when we test it, they had a bunch of default prompts, and it would pick randomly among them. This one is now, I think, just a landscape, some sort of like the most beautiful place in the world or something. And you can choose your mood boards and so on. Y'all slow down. I'm gonna get to all this. Okay. Similarly, it will find all images, square images, which is rather terrifying. Or you can filter by your mood boards, or you can create new image, which will use, I believe it uses your username.
You can even make it a video.
Yes, and you can pick videos as well. Yeah, it used my username. It saw my name is Clarinet, and I had an owl icon, so it made a Muppet. And you can put videos in here. You can't put video banners, though, I don't think. Connect all of your stuff. There's nothing that shows who is staff and who isn't, or who has died and who isn't, or whatever. So I stuck a sailboat on my name because I don't know. I just feel like that's important. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about trash. So before there was a filter for hidden. Now there's a filter for in trash. And also you should be able to view your trash can. I guess that's the only way to do it, is to do that. So it's hard to say, it's hard to even spend any time on this because they just renamed it. So hidden still works the way you think, but it, in other words, it only hides it for you. It doesn't hide it for anyone else, which means in theory, even if it's in your trash, it could still be pulled as a ranking picture, or it could still show up in an Explorer page, or it could still show up in a search, and so forth. Okay. Stu says, when you prompt for copyrighted stuff like Mickey Mouse, you get a message saying something like it will keep that image hidden from the public. Can you spotlight those things? No, and starting today, you may see a change to whether or not you can prompt stuff like Mickey Mouse. The moderation is getting a little bit more specific. He says they changed the menus there. Search magnifier now searches prompts, not image. Image search is... Okay, wait, let me see what you're trying to say. So if I go to Explore, if I go to Images, and I search here, you're saying it searches the prompt? So if I type QWERTY, it will find split keyword. No, it doesn't contain the word QWERTY. Or are you saying that if I can spotlight images that aren't mine? I forgot about that. Spotlight is like for your favorite images. It's not necessarily for your favorite images. It's for your favorite images. In theory, I am YouTubing, but my titles are wrong.
Yeah, I disagree with that use of Spotlight.
Yeah. Let me write that down too. We want personal spotlight.
I don't want people spotlighting my stuff. Well, I mean, I don't care myself, but I know a number of people.
I don't think anyone ever will, but please make a personal spotlight, not other people's stuff.
It's already happened. I know of a couple people who their OCs end up in somebody else's spotlight, and they have nothing to do with the project.
Mhm.
What if they had another tab that was like spotlight and favorites or something, and the favorites are other people's, like a repost. You can repost. You can stretch someone's signal. It's not retro. Stu said I can spotlight this as Batman in the prompt. It's not retroactive. But if it has Batman in the prompt, it may be suppressed when we get to that point. It's not suppressed yet. But ultimately, all of that stuff will be suppressed. I don't see Hebo. I haven't yet seen anything that searches prompts. Help me out. I am tubing under the wrong under Indian algorithm. I forgot to update the titles. I'll do it retroactively. I'll have to go back after we're done and change the name of the stream. The stream name is partly called Indian Algorithm Society because that's what I last posted. Okay. So we have covered profiles. We have covered Tide, which is now called Trash. Are there any other questions? Or any other things besides collect, which they roll the whole thing back? Are there any specific suggestions or complaints about our hide / trash or profiles. I have please default to spotlight if there are any spotlights in the folder. Please give us the ability to toggle our archive on and off, visible and invisible. I think they will resist that. Like, you can toggle your archive on and off, visible and invisible, if you pay for privacy, because public, private, published, unpublished, that is a something you pay for. So if you want your archive to be hidden, you'll probably have to be the person who pays for publish, unpublish. Does that make sense? I'm thinking that that's related, but I'm not sure. I'll find that out writing this down. Please make it a personal spotlight, not other people's stuff. Maybe make it separate if you must, like a spotlight versus favorites. Anything else you want me to report back? If you have nothing else you want me to report back, type nothing else or NE. If you have nothing else to report back, type nothing else or NE. Give me that. What's an A? An answer? Argument. Did you come here for an argument?
Oh,
A
a question. Question mark.
Oh, a question mark. God, I'm dumb. Okay. Can we request images to be deleted by a mod? You mean like I made a bunch of Batmans, can you please delete my Batmans for me? That they will do. But I don't like all my kittens. Could you please find all my red kittens and delete them? No. Yes, you can at least request it. Whether it would be priority enough to get it done, I don't know. I don't know if that's possible, because the reason why I'm not sure that, like, can you find all of my women with too much skin and delete them? That might be tough because unless there's something in the prompt they can search for. Like, how do they find that? How do they find, like, you can say, could you please search my profile for everything with bikini in it and just delete it if it has bikini in it? You can give them specific links. If you know that you have like a naked Batman and that violates a couple of terms of service and you're just uncomfortable with it, even in your trash, like you don't even want it in your trash, or you're nervous about it being in your trash. I mean, first of all, make sure it's in your trash. Secondly, you can provide the links and say, look, I have, 6 naked Batmen, and Batmans? Is it Batman? What Batmans? Batsmen? Anyway, look, I need to pass that. I have some stark naked bat lads. Could you please to delete them? They're in my trash, and here are the links. I've given you the literal links, like the job IDs. They may choose to delete them. They may say, like, you know what? They're in your trash, and we're not worried about it. And if it contains the word Batman, it'll get suppressed later. You're not gonna, if you're not, let me tell you this, if you're not already banned because of your naked bat lads, you will not suddenly become banned later when the policies mature. That nobody's gonna sweep back over and go like, oh, look, you know, a year and a half ago, Josh had some naked bat lads. Right. It won't happen. It won't happen. You can't get banned over that. At most, those images might become suppressed. But no one's going to take action based on you. Here's the thing: if you break a policy today, and 6 months ago you had 50 naked bat lads, like they might take that into account when they look. They're like, okay, like this person hasn't made any mistakes for 6 months, and the 6 months ago they have a bunch of these naked bat lads, but it looks like they're trash, and that's not what they were after, and so no, I'm not going to ban them. Or if you're a bad actor and 6 months ago you have intentional naked bat lads, and that's clearly what you're going for, but no one caught you, and you make one mistake 6 months later, right? And they see, oh look, this person periodically hides naked bat lads, and they've just been and this, we caught them this time, but 6 months ago they did it again and we didn't catch them that time. Like that goes into it too. I don't know how much time they spend doing this kind of evaluation. I am not trained as a mod, but I do know that it can be quite a human decision, and that they have definitely said out loud that they are not retro banning people. There are a bunch of moderators who, pipe up about that, like, this guy got away with it, we want blood. And the admins are like, we can't just retro ban people, wait for them to make another mistake, and then you can take it into account that they cheated 6 months ago or whatever, right? Bots may ban people while wearing retro, as many of them do, but they don't seem to retro ban people. Okay, so we can't speak to their fashion sense. This is Midjourney's Promptcraft Live. This is the advanced user group for the Midjourney prompting community. We have talked about the fact that the trash feature has been renamed, the hide feature has been renamed to trash. I heard myself say that wrong and had to pause, wait. And we have talked about and taken notes on how we feel about the profile feature. Then one of the strong opinions is get rid of it, and then the other opinions are to make it a little bit more customizable so that we can have a little bit more control over what we feel is our work. I think one of the interesting things I'm learning about the profile is how I went from thinking no one's going to see any of this to, oh shit, people can see this. Oh, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this, to, oh no, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this, and no one cares what I have made, to, oh, maybe somebody's going to care what I've made. So one of the things I'd like to do right now is for each person to go to their profile page, grab their share link, which is on the far right here, and paste their profile into the chat so that we can all follow each other. Woolly Fern, follow. Legal Beagle, follow. Joshy, follow. Should I call you Joshy? Spider. Wow. Follow. Yes, please come judge all my prompting. Just remember that I'm often prompting for you. EH61. It defaulted to your spotlight. Westendorf. Well, right, exactly. Oh, lab 083. Okay, let's see if I can get lab up here. Does this work? Nope. That must not be your name, lab. Lab, go to midjourney.com and log in and click your 3 dots next to your name. Go to your profile page, grab that URL, share it with us. Run it. Wow. Nice. Yeah, it's making me really self-conscious. Like, what does my archive look like? What does it look like? Archive. That's not too embarrassing. That's fine. That's okay. That architect, you want to get with yours? Scadia, you too talented. Kimbo. Collect, Johnny. I'm gonna go look you up. Non-consensually. Here we go. COLECT. Is that what you're called on here? Oh, denied. Denied. Johnny Bones. This is great. Are you that good looking? Okay.
I can't see the browser if you're looking at it. I only see your
Oh,
profile.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? Oh, hold on, you guys. This whole time, I've been showing out everyone's profile happily, and it's not even showing.
Dang it.
Ugh. What a terrible, terrible thing. Why? Why? There, that's it. Okay. There we go. Ah. Okay. Redo. I know I'm gonna do it again. Okay, there's Johnny Bonds. It's me, and behind me is no. Crap. Redo.
Hmm.
All right. Legal Beagle. Let's try this again. Legal Beagle. Willie Fern. Joshy. Spiral is giving us the tab to the spotlight. VH Path 61. Westendorf gave us his alpha website version. I'm gonna load up the regular version 1, which is the same, but just for consistency's sake.
Okay.
Brenda, Huh?
Okay. What's
Uh,
what's the difference? You said there's no difference.
well, no, it's live now. So dub and there's no difference. No, it uses the same
Okay.
information. So it looks the same. It's just I've used your live URL.
I'm just using an old link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Himbo says, are the spotlights like temporary galleries? The spotlights are galleries. I'm not sure about temporary, but insofar as you can remove and add things, it's like pinning. It's like saying I'm going to pin these images, my images and other people's, into this tab so that if people want to see what I like, they can see what I have spotlit. And I have spotlit every teal image that I love, or maybe I've spotlit, all of Josh's images that I find intriguing in order to get you to go follow Josh or something. Or it's a mix of my images and all kinds of images. Maybe I've just found collects images and put them all in my spotlight just to piss him off. But publish, unpublish, which is the same thing as public and private, is in play here. So if something is private / unpublished, it will not appear. But if it is trashed or hidden, it will. All the profiles with spotlighted images have defaulted to Spotlight. Well, Josh, I'm going to cross that off the list then, if that's what's happening. Already true. Just writing that down so I know why I crossed it out. Maybe they could make a tab for collected to show off other artists' work. Yeah. Yeah, I understand the impulse to want to keep other people's work separate. I don't know whether they'll let people opt out because privacy is a pay feature.
I have to run, but I'll be back in like half an hour, 40 minutes.
All right, take your time. See you later, Westor.
Okay, see you soon.
It's a great idea. I really do like the idea of saying, here's my special work and here's the special finds. Like, oh, like that's another good name for it. Finds. Like FINDS is what I'm trying to say with my stuffy nose. Finds. Finds. Okay. So the next thing I thought to talk about is this paper. Let me give you this paper. Many of you have been linked to it before. Let's see. I have to find it first. It's here somewhere. This one right here. Now, I'm calling this paper reverse engineering SRFs. Do they call that paper reverse engineering SRFs? They do not. They do not call it that. Oh, I keep downloading it over and over again without opening it. Okay. Here we go. Now, I'm not going to expect anyone to actually read this paper, but you might ask your AI to summarize it. But what they're doing here in this paper. Oh, very cool, Westendorf. What they're doing in this paper is reverse engineering Midjourney's SREF codes. Oh, great, Willie. And they actually in their abstract call out Midjourney as being behind closed doors and not letting anyone know how Midjourney has done it. Midjourney is not telling anyone how it's done. The numbers are random, but only as random as seeds are random. So they're made with a formula in the same way that seeds for image composition are. So when we use an SREF code, we're adding a seed. An SREF code, it turns out, if this paper is to be believed, an SREF code is a seed for the style or aesthetic, and it accompanies the seed for the image. So invisibly, you know, if you do seed 111, 222, 333, and SREFs, whatever, like that, those are actually two different seeds, one being fed to the image engine and one being fed to the aesthetic engine. And they're both derived with math. They've been masked. And they represent a starting point. The SREF is a seed or an address. SREF is like an address. So the conclusion that I got from this paper, the conclusion that they get from this paper is Midjourney's doing a lot more than we know. Midjourney is... Why are you showing me this? Oh, it's a GIF now. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, let me see. What's it doing? Ah, it's holding up a sign that says Hiya. That's great. He's kind of a Cthulhuoid owl with multiple arms, which I quite enjoy. I like how he just has like he's a multi-purpose tool owl and has an arm for every purpose. Hacking what? Hacking hack. So what this paper says is Midjourney probably uses our ranking as an input to their style reference engine, because a lot of this paper talks about how you need to compare two images that share aesthetic qualities and decide which one is sort of more beautiful or whatever. And I'm intuiting that in order to get a bank of comparisons like that, it might come from our ranking, because we're basically ultimately doing that. Now, we don't see image A and image B of the same style every time. Often we're seeing image A from one style pair and image B from another style pair. And later, but on the back end, they can say, well, ultimately, over all of these rankings, which one of these two representations of the style were preferred. I don't know if they're doing that. It's a big black box. And that answers Hebo's question, why did they reverse engineer the codes? Because Midjourney is leading the industry by inventing SREF codes, by allowing aesthetic space to be addressable, by being able to create these portable codes that will apply the style regardless of the subject or composition of the image. The community aesthetic one. Yeah. Open source. They wanted it to be open source because Midjourney figured it out, but it has not shared how they did it. So these guys said, well, okay, what's likely to be happening in the black box that Midjourney has created? And so they created an open source version of SREF. Basically, they created an open source version of SREF by sort of deconstructing what Midjourney is doing without knowing, without being able to see. Without going into like how they did it, because I'm not sure that's particularly fascinating. See, they are literally trying to reverse engineer Midjourney. So one of the interesting things I learned from this paper that I found immediately applicable to my use of Midjourney is that styles suffer from archetype also. Styles suffer from, I can't remember the word that they used for it. Let's see if I can look at my notes. Just looking at my notes here. Filler. It's called filler. The reason why it's called filler is because there's 196 style slots that they're trying to fill. And what happens is I don't know how many Midjourney uses to create an aesthetic style, but there's 196 in this paper. And what happens is when you tell it, I want you to make a style. Where's their other image here? Using Chinese ink or whatever. The slots are filled then with the outcome of the ask when they're building the style, when they're making the style book. And so Chinese ink, for example, brings back very, 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 very similar results. And so 196 slots, and 96 of them are filled with almost the same identical picture or information. And so what that does is create an incredible pull to a statistically dominant representation of that style reference, which means that each style reference has an archetypal expression of itself that we might want to, we might be fighting or resisting or trying to steer away from or whatever. So let me show you an example of this so it makes sense, because I know I'm being very abstract. Can I just drag this on here? Yeah. So if I just say cat, did I do it? Just cat? I do. I must have been. Okay. If I just do cat with this sref, we get this upward looking cat. And if I start trying to affect the style, can I zoom in? A cat, flat washes, sharp cell edges, clean backgrounds. It affects it a little bit. But let's see if I can get these close up. You can see no matter what I do, in this case, I'm changing the style instructions in the prompt. This one says wet on wet with backgrounds and soft underdrawing and limited palette and so on. Versus the all by itself. And I did this with lowered sref and higher sref and so on. This is apparently the archetype of cat that's in this style. So what I learned then is the same way we learn or become aware over time. We become fluent in the archetypal poles of the default house style. Like we can know we've played a game, haven't we? We've played a game, raise your hand if you've played it with me, where I give you a prompt and you guess what the prompt is going to show you. Right? That's your, yeah, Johnny played it. Madison played it. I think Madison won. Yes, just a second, Madison. That is when we become fluent in the archetypal expressions of that default house style. It didn't really occur to me until I read this paper that the same problem exists with every style in the Style Explorer, but it's going to be a different. I'm not fluent in the defaults of this style. I don't know what this style is going to do by default. But chances are I will have to chances are I will have to happen with this whole. Just I will have to learn what what the defaults are if I want to use this cool watercolor style, but do something with a cat other than this. So that was an interesting find or outcome from reading a paper that explained a little bit about how a Midjourney SREFs might be made behind the scenes of Midjourney SREFs. Surprisingly, I didn't pull a lot more from it than that myself. I really hope that you guys will point an AI at it and read it that way, or read it yourself and figure out what application, how does it change how we use SREFs? Does it change how we use SREFs to understand how it works on the back end? Certainly changes. Knowing what I know about the back end of how prompting works in Midjourney definitely changes how I prompt and how I teach you to prompt. But learning how SREFs work, this is how they make them. The only thing that I discovered was that it had these strong archetypes, and each one has its own, and that I would and I continuously advise, look, if you're using an SREF, you can take all the style information out of your prompt. You don't need to say flat washes, sharp cell edges, clean backgrounds. The style itself is going to take care of that. The style itself is going to take care of that. You can take all that out and just type cat. And it's true. You get almost the same picture. But what this suggests is that the vector, the prompt vector, is still powerful enough that you might still want to keep your style phrases in play. That's something else I learned from this paper. That I thought, why bother to put any style information in the prompt? Let the prompt just carry simple compositional, like the focal point of this is a tree, and then get out of the way of the SREF. And the answer is, well, you could, but you might get something even better out of using style phrases. I mean, when you look at this picture versus this picture, you can see and make a decision about, well, I actually like saying flat washes. It got me this cool background. I like the rough paper. I like how the edges are handled. Without it, it's a lot more blotchy. The edges are not as they're transparent in some places. I like the other look better. I didn't realize before reading that paper that the prompt could be such a strong vector. So those are the two takeaways I have. I'd love to hear your takeaways. Just pop them in our social when you have a chance. If you want to nerd out with us, you can go to Midjourney Events Social and we'll be talking about it there. Okay, now I am going to check the questions. Himbo said, why did they reverse engineer the codes? We answered that. Personal ranking or community, aesthetic community. They want the shortened prompts we get by using a numeric for all the... why not just ask users to group images by aesthetic? It seems like that would be a more direct process. Madison, the reason why they show us 2 pictures of different aesthetics and ask us to pick is that it creates the decision there is which one is prettier, is which one is more appealing when all is said and done. Like which one is more appealing overall, objectively, without comparison. And that's a data point that they're interested in. Showing us 2 images of the same aesthetic is a different question and a different data point. And they collect those too, but they're super interested in the sort of that absolute question. I think the claim that they are trying to reverse engineer MJ specifically is misleading. That is my claim, not theirs. So I'm the one being misleading if that is true. I don't know what to say, collect, except that they all but spell that out to us, that they want an open source version of sref codes. Are they trying to literally reverse engineer Midjourney? No. Are they trying to create an open source version of Midjourney's sref codes? Yes. Josh says, I've used some Midjourney codes that switch between photo and art styles. It seems like it has mixed filler. Yeah, I don't know. What? I have a metaphor in my head that I might share, but let me get through the questions first. Madison, I just reached your request to be unmuted again, and so I'm going to find you and unmute you. Sorry for taking so long.
Thank you.
Okay. Josh, Clarinet, is that line when we look through the Style Explorer, a lot of the people seem to have the same faces? Yeah, that might be. You're saying, does the filler cause that? Does the archetype cause that? It's possible. I mean, if I say like ancient, are all these faces the same for the word ancient? No. Maybe ancient has enough filler to create this sort of brown-eyed, curly, brown-haired guy because he's showing up quite a bit. Like here he is again. But that could also be confirmation bias. So I don't know. French toast, you bastard, share. If it does allow the weighting of srefs, yes, Midjourney allows the weighting of srefs, but only in Discord. Himbo, my analogy for styles is a map. You have cities and roads. A style can go from Scotland to England via the motorway. And 74, going through Scotland, you go through different cities, but you could take the B roads and go through different areas of the same city. Different style codes of the same cities in them. That's an interesting metaphor. Collect. Yep. Clarinet Bensref. I've always visualized neural networks as like human neural networks, just nth-dimensional space. That is accurate, Madison. Spiral. When I create a mood board, I no longer add my style phrases, but using a standard P or sref, I still use them. That's interesting, Spiral. Why do you divide them up like that? Why with one and not the other? The link is locked. Crap. How do I make this thing public? How did I ever make it private? I don't even know how I did that, you guys. Edit thread. Anyone can invite. There we go. I think I fixed it. Is it open now? No, it's still marked as private. There's apparently no way to change the privacy of this thread. But anyone can invite, which is good. That means that you can just at people and they'll be added to the list. The same aesthetic is a matter of perception, is it not? Right. Are they using the same seed number to generate the images in the grid? That is a very, very cool idea. They might have done. I mean, these are pre-rendered. You guys get that, right? These images here are not rendered at runtime. These are cached images. And they're each of them separate. We perceive this as a single image, but they are not, although they are presented to us as a single image like this, they are not a single image. They are each of them an individual image. And they are pre-rendered. Not at runtime. They're cached. Spiral, answering my question. A good mood board with one style in mind doesn't need the extra style phrases because it's designed to do them already. So then, isn't SREF the same way? Spiral says, oh, okay, I see. SREF and archetypes and how to prompt with that in mind. Yeah, no, I'm going to look. Results of text mismatching the SREF. For the first example, I chose oh, yeah, we were doing these experiments. Can I show this on the screen? Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this. In my opinion, when prompting for a subject that has shared qualities and themes to the SREF, in other words, leans into the archetype of the SREF, then don't include any style language because, yeah, it might be almost distract the engine, right? But if you're trying to fight the archetype, then go ahead and do something with your style language to help shore it up. This was something that we had these discoveries and these notes early on, but I didn't know why it was true. Now I do, because I read this paper. Did I read the wrong one? You want me to read differing subject tests, same methodology? Let me bring it back. When prompting a mismatching subject that has almost no shared qualities with the SREF, the best practice is to correctly identify the technique of the SREF and add it to the prompt to shore it up. Yep. Nice job. And that was intuited in February 2024, almost a year ago. And it wasn't until this paper that I understood why these things worked out this way. Thanks for these links, Collect. That's really helpful. So I asked Spiral if SREF was the same as a mood board, and he says a standard profile, especially a rating profile, can vary to pretty much any style, and an SREF can be altered with heavy style phrase words. But a mood board can't. The reason why I'm asking is I think if anything that's running the --P app is the same thing. Like, for me, I think of it as P is like an app. And the input is either our ranking or our mood board. And SREF is an app. And it's either an image or a code. But I might be wrong. It might be a switch. I've explained this before. It might be that P is an app with a switch that, runs mood board when the code is interpreted as mood board, and runs profile when the code like with a switch, a fork in the road, and goes to one or the other. And in that case, mood board is a different runtime app, if you will, than profile. But they're both being run with --p, so I'm not sure. I have to ask the devs. And Astraf similarly could be a switch. It could be if it encounters an image, it runs one thing, and if it encounters a code, it runs another thing. Or it could be that it runs one thing that just handles codes and images. Collect points out that I'll leak all sorts of stuff anyway, meaning treating them as different things is not worthwhile, or what's your conclusion there? Beeks, you're here. Did you want to add anything to the conversation, like your experience using Astraf and whether having background this technical background will change anything? Or
So I apologize, I got distracted. My understanding, or my attempts at understanding the SRF codes, it's so broad that I decided not to try and wrap my head around it. But most of what I can see is, my assumption is they did not use the same seed. But it's because it's all the same prompt, you're drawing on all the same archetypes, and multiple seeds are used. You could see that it's almost like the random seed randomization, it wasn't as random as if every user were, so it's like so many seeds were used by a cluster, or if they did seed lock, it jumped clusters a number of times and wasn't a true seed locking. So that's
right.
why we get the difference. I don't know. I don't know if it's.
Sorry, I was muted while I'm saying right. When you're talking about when you explore styles, you feel like the seeds were not consistent from one run to the next.
Correct.
Here. So clusters of them might have hit the right seed, but then another cluster hit this 2/3 profile seed. Right. But another cluster hit this, so you're saying that it's hard to trust. Are you saying it's hard to trust the comparisons because they probably wandered across seeds?
They definitely wandered across seeds, but it's hard to trust the comparisons because the prompt changes. The prompt changes things so drastically, and with V7 specifically, I really think it was fun exploring things with V6 and 6.1 with short sentences and one word. I don't enjoy it with V7 because I feel like V7 gives you more than you asked for, or because there's so much more intelligence to the bot that it's trying to do more, even when you don't want it to. You have to kind of rein it in, and when you want just a cat, you have to specifically say just the cat. No, you have to prompt, not in a negative way, but you have to prompt out a lot of the other stuff. You have to
Do you mean
simplify
like
it.
in my example here, an iridescent scarab, it decided to put it in on a tray here, and it decided to put on a yellow background here.
It's hard to tell what part of that is the SREF and what part of that is the
Right.
is V7.
If you run that in V6, what happens? Or V6.1?
It wouldn't be the
Nothing
same SREF.
because it wouldn't be the
Oh,
same
right,
SREF.
right.
So, it's so hard. I like running SREF codes to try and get line art and character concepts and things.
Motion detected
that
at
was
front
fine.
door.
It's just really easy to click away, but it's hard to really compare unless you're doing something like I was, where I had the same prompt over and over and over and over again.
I see what you're saying. So you might go through here and pick like 10 incredibly cool line art, heavy, bold line art. But then once you combine it with the prompt that creates your character, the prompt changes, and the alchemy between that SREF, those SREFs, and that particular prompt, the alchemy changes the expression of the style so much that you feel like it wasn't as valuable as you hoped to have so carefully found all these line art styles.
Correct.
Because the alchemy changes it so much. And I'm calling it alchemy because we don't precisely know what's happening there.
Not just that,
but
the other thing,
yeah,
the thing that that's I didn't realize I was making 2 points, but now that I've said it, I'm clarifying. There's 2 points. The one is
very good.
Alchemy issue. The other is the V7 single word prompt tokens for getting these images, right? The first picture there is just the prompt is just the word portrait.
That's right.
What is just the word tree, just the word landscape, or whatever.
Still life, coffee, house, animal, city.
And V7, by its nature, adds more to the picture than because it's making more connections than past models have. So it's adding more detail to the prompt than
it's embellishing
than I want it to. It's hard to gauge.
I understand what you mean.
Because how much of this is V7? How much of this is the SREF code? No, collect. I think it's making more connections. I think it's actually making. There's an increase in connections that it's capable of applying.
Can we call them embellishments instead of connections? Because that's what you mean, right? Like the fact that you said portrait and it gave him curly hair, or give anyone curly hair. These are. Is that what you mean?
No,
that you asked for still life and it gave you a table also? That you asked for coffee and it also gave you steam?
The way it feels is that the bot is doing more thinking in the back end.
That you asked for animal and it decided to give you a collection of animal, maybe it's animals plural. And I just can't give me an example of what you mean by more. Because
its palette isn't as limited, and it's able to. Oh, you said cartoon. Well, these are the majority of the cartoons that we have in the database. So we're just going to go with the majority. Now you say cartoon, and it's capable of understanding more things as cartoons. So it's drawing in more data in its application, and then the image you get uses more data than it did before. I agree with you in the embellishments part, but it also feels like there's just more data being it's thinking.
It sounds like you're saying that there's more chaos.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's chaotic. I think they're all logical connections, and I think
No, I
that's
mean
right.
more.
They're connections that I'm not accustomed to. But
I mean chaos. How varied the images are. I mean this chaos dash chaos,
maybe.
which is true in V7. The default chaos, the chaos, what we think of as chaos 0, which is the default. You know, behind the scenes, they made a value of what chaos 0 would be, and in V7 they tweaked it a little higher. So the variety of images you get back from V7 is a broader variety. The default chaos is higher in V7 than in V6.
I did not know that.
If only you could set negative chaos.
Say again?
If only you could set negative chaos.
You can.
Well,
the
negative
default is
chaos
100.
would be all the same picture.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just the same picture 4 times.
That was wrong.
What you're saying is that they bumped up the value for V7, so I'm assuming that negative, like, I don't know, so chaos 0 in V6 would be chaos negative 10 in V7? Not a literal 1-to-1, but my point is that, you know what, never mind.
Say it again. No, I almost caught it. It's chaos 0 in V6 would be chaos negative 10 in V7. Right.
Yeah, so yeah, what I'm saying is that if they
Right.
bumped up the default
Conceptually.
0, if they bumped up the default 0 value, then having a negative value wouldn't give you 4 of the same image. It would get you closer to like true 0, which might be negative 10. Like that, I don't know. Sorry,
That's right. That's right. No, but you're conceptually you are right. They've balanced chaos differently in V7. So what sounds like what Legal Beagle would like is to use a negative value of chaos, or at least get a really low value of chaos going, so that you get this more. You see how similar these are? Like there's only one that doesn't look like the others. One of these things is doing its own thing. Just one. And these, like almost all of them are doing their own thing. He's squat, he's tall, he's ornate with a background, he's on a 3-dimensional object.
Yeah.
Right. So what if I did like chaos?
This is a dumb question, but what happens if you lower the quality? Because he was talking about how it adds in all kinds of unnecessary details.
How
and
come
my first thought
it
was
didn't-
like, oh,
There
just
you go.
lower the quality.
Lower the quality.
That's another idea.
Okay.
If
I
it's
have
adding
lowered
a
the
bunch
quality.
if it's adding a bunch of unnecessary details, and that's kind of what.
Oh,
Beagle
hey.
is.
Oh, hey, look, Madison's onto something. Look how similar they are in draft mode. Beaks. Also, Chaos 1 made them more similar. And draft mode, Chaos 1 made them more similar. So what if I said a cartoon elephant, which was one of our tests before. Draft is not a different model. Draft is, no, they're very, very different. Draft is just Q 0.5. It's a lower quality. It's fewer steps. A cartoon elephant.
Is that really all that happens when you go into draft mode? It just lowers the quality parameter?
It's like a macro for -- Q 0.5. I know, it's like sold as a whole thing, but it's actually just putting you on Java. Yeah, look at what V7's going bananas there. V7 is just like, wee, I see what Biggs means. Okay. So we take off draft mode because that seems to be destabilizing our quality, which happens a lot with draft mode. Lower quality. Destabilizing our coherency with lower quality, excuse me. That's more similar with Chaos 1. What if I just take out our style code? I just want to see what house style does. Nope. That's a lot of chaos. You're not wrong. I think that's what what you're trying to express, Biggs. I think you're just saying that they normalized chaos differently in V7, and so it's really hard to get the same thing twice.
That may be it. That may be what it comes down to. I want to play with that more because prompting with V7 feels different. I feel like I have to rein it in.
Yeah. That's why longer prompts feel better, because they exert more control. Midjourney is doing less of its own guessing. And so you reduce the chaos. That is what we teach. Control it yourself. If you've been through the prompting for beginners class, then you have probably been forced to type the words "control it yourself" into chat like a chant in a cult, because I make people say that. Now, Biggs, this is when you say, look, that might be true, but I tell you what, I can prompt the hell out of a cartoon and it still doesn't ever stabilize.
No, I mean, I get results that I'm looking for. It just takes more work with V7.
I love how humans are like, we have phenomenal cosmic power in the form of AI, which has reduced our workload by 5,000%. And as soon as we get used to it, we're like, it could be easier.
It's the constant frustration with any technology is that while it makes any creative technology usually makes the process of creation easier while removing your autonomy from the process. I'd say AI is kind of an exception in that, where you still have a whole lot of autonomy, but like when Photoshop first became a thing, you were limited to like 40 tools, and you could only do what those 40 tools allowed you to do. Or like PowerPoint, people try to express
yeah.
themselves within the medium of PowerPoint, but like your options are severely limited to the tools. So tools exercise their own form of tyranny on the creative professional.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so does, a chisel and a paintbrush. And I mean, that's why oil paintings all look like oil paintings, and marble sculptures all look like marble sculptures. Because I mean, the medium
Mhm.
and everything is that, I mean, that's what we mean by a medium. That's what we mean sometimes by a style. I mean, so in other words, you can frame it as tyranny. You can also frame it as aesthetic.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And I like the idea of an artist taking PowerPoint and using it to create, what ends up being this beautiful photorealistic picture of a cat or something, just because they've made colored text boxes tiny and made a fine mosaic of them and ended up making some incredible,
super cool stuff. Yeah.
Super cool thing. And yeah. And so that's part of art, is to take the tyranny of the medium and turn it on its ear.
I think constraints is a better word than tyranny. My bad.
Constraints, yeah. I mean, it's easy to say tyranny when it's Microsoft PowerPoint. It feels like tyranny.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're constraints or just the characteristics or attributes of the medium. Collect says a good way to know you've actually pushed the limit of the model is to have 4 identical images with just a text prompt. Yeah. I mean, it means that you've maxed out the you found embeddings that are so powerful that there's no further There's no further exertion. There's nothing else to do. That's a terrible way of putting it. Oh, you've maxed out the time allocated to you. Sure, that also. You've optimized that. You've made good use of the entire time allocated to you. That's for sure. Spiral says, still very much a clay style, even with the additional style phrases, because this mood board is 100% clay character style. Okay, let me play with this. You're saying that I'm gonna have a hard time making this profile do something, making this mood board show me something other than clay pictures. He still has this three-dimensional nose. Have the style turned up. There we go. They do look a little bit three-dimensional, don't they? That one's flat. That one's flat. But it's an impossible oil painting of a claymation guy. So Josh, there's a number of things that could explain that. One is you went and cherry picked all of those, so you intentionally went to go find a bunch of those, and so you did. The second, though, I mean that's probably not fair, but I mean, if you took 6 billion people and decided to sort them by the similarity of their face, you would find a bunch of similar looking people, but you wouldn't say that like the whole human race is doomed to repeat faces. Maybe you would. But we're not looking at the full, stars in the sky, billions of these SRFs. What we're looking at is batches of pre-rendered cached images. And the batches are incremental changes across the embeddings. So it is possible that since these are batches that they're within these samples, we still see the face, and then its incremental changes, as one of the orthogonal directions is tweaked. But it's also true that even if we had all 6 billion of them, we might still notice faces being the same, especially faces.
I don't feel like they do
Especially
look all that
faces.
similar, to be honest. Like this is where like a couple things come to mind. One is this whole idea of trying to separate style from content is really murky, because there's a certain way that you draw like female faces in anime, right, or in like kind of Western comic book illustration, and that is going
Yes.
to severely like cut down on the number of kind of like shapes and sizes and the hairstyles and the look.
Yeah, it's constrained by that aesthetic.
Yeah, like
That
they
aesthetic
all look
looks
the
that way
same
because it looks that way.
because
Yeah.
this is how you draw women in like a Western comic book style. Also, I think To tag on to what you were saying earlier about, I think you called it filler. You were talking about
Yeah.
how sometimes a concept has so much gravitational pull that everything just winds up, like if you do an ink drawing like India ink, it's always going to do a mountain. I think that was the example that they gave in the paper.
Chinese ink, yeah.
Chinese ink, yeah, it's always going to do a paper. I think they're like, if I were to split that down into two smaller ideas, it would be sometimes there's something like Chinese ink where you just see so many repetitions of the same thing that it's going to, like, everything is going to get pulled towards that. But I think also as well, I've noticed sometimes that there aren't enough examples of something specific within a style. So like a woman with glasses, maybe there are only like 3 reference photos of a woman with glasses within this specific style. So that's kind of like a separate but connected phenomena. And then it'll default to that one specific composition, or one of like 3 maybe specific compositions of a woman wearing glasses within that specific style, right? And that's
Yeah,
maybe what's
I
happening.
see what you're saying. You're saying that there's two constraints. One constraint is the aesthetic itself, that
Yeah.
that's how women look in this style. So of course they're all going to look similar because the styles are similar. So the women are going to look similar because that's part of the style.
Yeah.
And then the second thing you're saying is think about the training data.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you summed it up really well.
Okay. Josh, does that help sort of not solve your frustration with seeing so much similarity, but at least, you know, give you the off camera behind the scenes to why that's possibly happening? You're welcome. And thank you, Madison, for chiming in.
Just a theory.
Himo says, look, they have glasses, they have parting on the same side, they all have dark hair, their eyes are dark, the expression on the face is similar, the skin tones vary, they have pointy chins. Yeah, it is stubborn. Now, the thing is that I wish we had a profile now, like a ranking profile to compare to the mood board, but no one has a claymation ranking profile, Andy. So we can't compare. We can't see if one's easier to overcome than the other. But like I have one that does die cut stickers spiral, and if I'm not careful, I can make it walk outside of the die cut sticker look. Easy. Like if I describe something that isn't generally depicted on a die cut sticker, like a skyline or something, it doesn't like say, oh, I'm a die cut sticker mood board. I'm going to, no matter what you tell me, I'm going to make a die cut sticker out of it. No, my mood board doesn't do that. My SRAF might. If I found a die cut sticker SRAF, it might say like, I'm a frickin' die cut sticker SRAF. Your skyline will now be a sticker. But a mood board won't. I don't know. No? Might be a safe answer. No. Die cut sticker. I can say yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. They're all die cut stickers. But if I give it something that isn't already one of these things, then the die cut might get lost. Add more. If anyone wants to play with this. Well, wait, let me prompt with it and give you the short code. Oh, I tried to type test and I typed Yertle. Yuri. Die cut stickers. I suggest that you perhaps save this code, because if you're in the mood to play I'm gonna go ahead and announce this then. For the holidays, I'm gonna run a toy workshop. And in this toy workshop, we are going to, I kid you not, vibe code a claw machine that picks up toys that we make with Midjourney. and awards them as prizes. And so using for our toy workshop, we're gonna make all these toys in this claw machine. And I want people to start getting excited about what kind of toys they're gonna put in the claw machine. I'm not even using OpenAI. Oh my God, I'm using Gemini 3. Oh my God. But yes, I'm also betting on OpenAI not going under. That is true. I would like to stop a moment and draw attention to the two people in the call that have green books at the end of their name. They are Joseph AI and P Magic, who spend an untold number of hours each week helping out in our community. They are also compensated with a little bit of insider news and information and other things. So being a volunteer is not nothing. So if you want to volunteer, just really the answer is to start volunteering, and we will, when you start to be a regular volunteer, we will bless you with a green book and secret passwords and stuff. Happy says, which one of the AIs out there is excellent with editing images? My favorite for that is Gemini. Gemini is the one that, like, I've pictured, my dad recently passed away, and we have a bunch of pictures of him where it's really hard to see him. He's in a crowded beach or whatever. And we were able to give these images to Gemini, and with just words, just say, feature this man and remove the chairs in the background or whatever. And with natural language, we were able to get my dad well isolated in many of his photographs. What Gemini was bad at was stuff like remove the, he wearing a coronavirus mask in a picture. We can't get Gemini to remove the mask without crazy, hilarious effects. Like at one point, it removed his whole head, and he became like an invisible headed person with a hat hovering in midair. In another case, it crushed his head so that like the chin and the eyes were right on top of each other, stacked like a hamburger. It's horrifying. Because it didn't know what to do. It's like, I'm going to remove this mask. And my prompt didn't say, and replace it with the mouth and nose. I didn't say replace it with the mouth and nose. I just said remove the mask. Right, collect. So I ended up, once I told it, remove the mask and instead show the man's face, as was previously obscured by the mask. Like I had to hold its hand and tell it that. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll put a face there. This is not his face. Because I don't know, maybe I could have given it a reference image and say, look, this is the man, and this is the man with the mask. Now remove the mask and use the face from I don't know how far I could have gone with that, but I just had an AGI upon us moment and just stopped the project at that point. But, well, Pepe, that's, if you're changing the whole image. If I'm just editing an image, making a small change to it, like remove the chair from the background, Gemini is very, very good. If you mean change this picture of my father to a picture of a cartoon, like change the style of this image from one thing to another, then that's making a brand new image. I wouldn't call that editing. And Midjourney would be better at that. That's right. That doesn't create stickers very well now. Spiral's solution to that is add more stickers. to the mood board. You guys can take a look at the mood board itself. And I guess if you guys have links to more stickers, I will put it in there. But I mean, I'm testing the claw machine with these sticker things because what I do is I give it like this frog. I have to change the frog to an SVG file with a transparent background, which is just 2 clicks in Adobe Express. And then I can put frog-toy.svg and give it to the claw machine. And the claw machine makes it into a sprite that is picked up by the claw and then is delivered to me as a trophy. I get a trophy! Heckin' heck. And then I thought that was a cool way to make toys. But they look a little flat, obviously, because they're die cut. So I don't know, maybe somebody could make a toy, a claw machine toy mood board for us that makes claw machine toys. And then we can use this claw machine toy mood board for our claw machine toy workshop. So if anyone wants to step up and make a claw machine toy mood board, it would be great to have a couple of 2, 3 of those. There are 2 projects, Himbo. We were trying to break the mood board, the claymation mood board, which Spiral said could not be broken. And then I gave a picture of the die cut sticker one, which is an incredibly easy mood board to break. Okay, Pepe, I don't know why it's touching other people's faces. I don't know why Gemini would touch other people's faces. I don't know why Midjourney would. Midjourney can't. Gemini could, but I don't know why it would. But you can also use Adobe Express because Adobe Express allows you to use a brush, which is interesting. Let me show you that. Hold on. Ugh. Oh, for crying out loud. Heckin' heck. Okay. So here's Adobe Express. And one of the things I can do is remove, well, let me bring something up. Like, let's say I have an image, oh, well, this is not helpful because this is already a cartoon. Let me go back and find one that is a photograph of some kind. Okay. Never mind this. Never mind. Photograph. A photograph. Do I have a photograph of anything? I don't really do photographs. Okay. This is my friend Matthew. He's a professional comedian. Oh, it's huge. Okay. Let's try this again. I am cheating on Midjourney. I cheat on Midjourney all the time. I use multiple tools. I don't have a single respectable photograph here. Oh, here's a coworker. Okay. So we took this picture because it was so funny how it's so low res. Terrible example. This is a photograph. Oh, but it's already a cartoony creature. This is Tooth. I don't have any ready examples. I suppose I could come up with a stock photo or something. Anyway, this tool, Adobe Express, has a really nice remove object. Pepe, remove object, is excellent in Adobe Express. Madison, super long-winded TLDR. Thought about it a bit more. Here's my working theory as to how Midjourney built the SREF style code system using ranking data. Do you want to read it yourself?
I was gonna say you don't have to read this out loud. I was just posting it there for anybody who thought it would.
Oh, no, I'm totally going to read it out loud because I love what you have to say.
Okay.
Each
Go ahead.
Midjourney image has latent space coordinates that reflect its subject and style. The devs can use this data to see how the model maps images in relation to each other. Most coordinates in latent space produce random garbage, and you can't brute force generate styles for every point in the model. Prohibitively expensive. Style image ranking gives Midjourney the missing ingredient, relative preference gradients. My theory is that they got users to rank their aesthetic preferences and used gradient ascent descent to find the peaks, the regions of latent space where the images are consistently liked. My guess, those relative peak coordinates become the SREF style codes. Almost. That is very, very cool.
Yeah,
You're so
okay.
close. That's only one thread in the tapestry of SREF, but it is a thread.
I'm pulling together
is.
so many like different. The thing is that I kind of understand. I understand like 25% of how this stuff works, and I think it comes across that way. a
Here.
little bit.
I'll give you the file. I'll give you the use this paper. This paper that I just posted in the
I'll
chat.
read it. I will.
You don't have to read it. I didn't. I just asked. I just queried it with an AI because we have AI. Why read the whole thing top to bottom? I queried it with an AI until I understood it. And I mean, I also kind of read it. I mean, in the end, but I mainly approached it with AI and found that a dialogue to be very helpful.
My theory. I'm just reading Collect's comment that it doesn't. My theory doesn't really track because there's way too many codes, even when we consider not all are unique. Plus, there are SREF codes that the large majority of users would never rank. I think what they probably do in this like theory, you got to imagine the user preference data is like a topological map, right? And like the XY coordinates are the similarity of images, and the Z coordinates are users' likelihood to like prefer those images, like the aesthetic likability of those images. I think they just set a threshold basically, and anything that rises above a certain level of like aesthetic preferability becomes an SREF. Or they look for the local peak on that little like mountain or hill or whatever, and then that becomes an SREF code. That's kind of my theory. But I'll take a look at the yeah, so 4.29 billion codes. Yeah, for sure. There are
I think you're right. I don't think they're just releasing when they give us batches of codes. I don't think they're giving us all of them. I think they probably have made 4.29 billion of them, and then when they give us a batch of them, I can't help but think that batch is somehow curated for quality.
I think they do it using the style codes or using the style ranking. Style and image ranking is probably how they sort those for quality. The question is just like how. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep thinking about it.
That's amazing. Twisted reality. Yeah. I think that the paper will walk you through that. I mean, I could walk us through that. How much time I cannot walk us through that. We have 10 more minutes.
No worries. I gotta go anyways.
It's so funny because I opened this event thinking no one's going to want to do that. That's so technical. Let me just talk about what my takeaways. Like, here's how my prompting will change after understanding this paper. And I only really had two thoughts about that, which is I now understand why I do and do not want to put style information in my prompt. Now I get
Mm.
it. I did. We had observed that it worked and didn't work in different circumstances, and I couldn't figure out why. Now I know why. And the other one I can't remember. I'd have to check my own
Okay.
transcript of this very event to tell you the other one. The other one was the other one was related. The other one was the impression I had that styles had archetypes, that styles themselves like it maybe that style tended toward upward looking faces, and like that wasn't confirmation bias or my prompting or anything else. That is actually true, and now I know the technical reason why that happens, why tilted upward faces might be, the gravitational pull of a style. Those are the two things that paper explained to me that that I wanted that I always wondered why.
Very cool. I will read it. It's gonna be. I just need to wait until I have like an hour or 2 or 3.
No, I know. It's not homework or anything. It's just fun. If you're into it.
For sure. Yeah, I am.
Um,
Thank you for reading that. I appreciate your feedback.
yeah. Josh says some of them make IP by default. Some might add too much unasked for skin. I think they're skipping those now more than in previous versions. Yeah, the curation is getting more sophisticated. The astrophes are not curated at all? You really don't think so?
No, they are.
I'm going to find out. I'm asking right now.
I mean, think about it. Like, there's obviously curation going on at some level, because if you took a random assortment of pixels, like let's say you rolled the dice and just came up with a random assortment of pixels in space, that's going to be pretty bad. It's curated on some level. In the same way as Midjourney, like default generations are curated in some level. It's weights and biases, right?
I'm over here asking it, Dad. Hold on.
Gotta head out, but I'll read the chat later and see what you guys came up with.
Yeah, I'll tag you. If I get an answer, I'll tag you. Okay. That is sitting in the server waiting to see if someone wants to answer that. Yeah, the Explorer groups. That's what we're talking about, Spiral. Does Collect not think that? I agree, Collect, that what he said was model design, not curation. You're talking about the 4.2 billion, not the Explorer batches. We're talking about the batches that are made public in Explorer. These. Okay. Okay, great. Just making sure. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you. You're so organized, Josh. I'm so glad when you're in these events. Keep us all straight. Keep me straight. Not totally straight, I admit. There are some of us here who aren't totally straight. I'll admit that. Oh, I see. Clark says I don't think they're curated on second thought. I think they're just auto-moderated. Yeah. So we have reached the end of Midjourney's Promptcraft Live, the advanced users group. I would like to leave you with a couple of things. First of all, we have a feedback form. Please use the feedback form to share your thoughts about Promptcraft Live and events in general. If you are inclined to do so, it is very helpful. It helps the bosses know how to invest in Midjourney community events. We also have our Luma calendar. The nice thing about the Luma calendar is if you register for an event, and there is some sort of freebie or giveaway for the event, or like we might send you the notes, we might send you maybe the notes, or we might send you some notes. If you're interested in those things, you can click the register button on the event, which looks like this. And it adds you to the little mini mailing list for that one event. And even if you don't attend the event, you can go through and hit the register button for all of them and get the stuff if you want to sign up for the stuff. But I do hope that you consider leaving feedback, signing up for stuff. And finally, you, meaning you and me, have a website for everything that we're learning, although there's something of a backlog to get stuff published. This is the Prompt FAQs Notion site. It is a complement and will eventually replace the Prompt FAQs here on Discord. This is a Midjourney sponsored site, and it contains our tutorials, guides, and FAQs brought to you by Midjourney Education, which is basically me, and the Midjourney Promptcraft community, which is you guys. So if you want to be a contributor to the website, we will hook you up with an account. You will get in there. You will be able to edit things. You'll be able to add. We're going to have, if you have a tutorial that you want to post, or a blog article that you want to post, and so on. I know none of us have time for any of this, but if you do find yourself with time and you want to add content, please let me know in DM. Our fearless leader for this project is Abby, who I will post. She's just been pinged into this chat now. Well, if you want to friend her or send her a DM at any point about getting involved, you can do that, or you can talk to me. I noticed you yoinked a multi-character prompt. You bet I did. Ladies and gentlemen, I yoinked. Right here. Where is collects? There it is. This right here. Did I give you credit? No. Didn't even give you credit. Such an asshole. Well, give me a better example. No credit needed. I had the thought that he would probably be happier if I didn't put his name on this. Because I just threw it in there, and maybe I'm saying something he wishes were not quite said or whatever, but I needed an example, and there it was. If you want to give a different example, you're welcome to do so. But this is what happens, is we all end up in a patchwork inside these tutorials. And they're good. This stuff is good stuff. And it's a lot, it's solid compared to some of the materials that you will find out on the web, because it's us, and we're really here, and we're really doing this, and we really talk to each other, and we test it, and we have the devs. And so when I have published something like multiple subjects, the devs have that, not that they sit here and read it, but I've asked them whether all these things are true. You know what I mean? Like it's grounded, which is fantastic. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. And I don't believe there's anything else on our calendar today, but we do hope that OH Illustrations is at 1 o'clock and is not on the Discord calendar. I will get it added. but it is on the Luma calendar. So go ahead and register or return here. No, that's Chillustrations is Friday. I'm lying. Tomorrow at 1:00 was this time tomorrow is Chillustrations. That's what I'm trying to say. And I am not confused at all about anything ever. Heck. Okay, bye. Thanks, everyone. Unmute for farewells. Unmuting. Okay, there. Try now.
See you soon.
Is that it? You wanted to unmute just to say see you soon?
I guess.
Does anyone want to go down to Learning Pro or something and keep chatting? I don't know. There's some of us that are just here all the time, and we might want to go down. Okay. Yeah, get some work done. Sounds good.
Yeah. Same here. But
All
see
right.
you Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Ciao for now.